In Brockton, we swing for the fences so we can touch home.
We coach in Brockton to instill the teamwork that builds a great winning tradition.
We do business in Brockton because here you can find a taste of home away from home.
We keep our company in Brockton because we love this city.
I study and learn in Brockton to achieve my goals.
When Brockton is home, everything is within reach.
Hi, I'm Jessie.
Hi, I'm Victoria.
And you're watching
Shoe City Scoop.
I'd like to now introduce our next speaker, Mayor Bill Carpenter. Bill Carpenter is a 28-year resident of the city of Brockton. He has 6 children and 3 grandchildren, all of whom live here in the city of Brockton. Before being elected mayor, he completed his 2nd term as the Ward 5 representative to the Brockton School Committee. He was the chairman of the Facilities Usage Committee, a committee which oversaw a $36 million budget, of which only cost $7 million to taxpayers and provided substantial improvements to many of the Brockton schools here in the city. He is also the co-founder of the Independence Academy, only the 4th high school here in the Commonwealth established to educate students who are in drug recovery programs. Mayor Carpenter, while serving in his 1st term, has engaged business and residents on a very personal level. He has a style of dealing with issues in a very head-on fashion with tireless energy. The mayor's commitment to dealing with substance abuse was recognized by Governor Charlie Baker. The governor appointed him to the governor's opioid task force. Please help me in welcoming the mayor of the City of Champions, Mayor Bill Carpenter.
It's a pleasure for me to join you here today. It's a pleasure for me to hopefully warm up the room a little bit for Secretary Pollock when she comes on, recognizing that most of you came to see her and not me. However, I do have something really exciting to share with you this morning. The Metro South Chamber of Commerce is no better place to introduce this because I think that we all share our concern and our interest in economic development for the Metro South region. So what I'm here to tell you about this morning is a vision and a plan for the economic development in the future of the city of Brockton called Brockton 2025. It's a 10-year plan of development and planning. And I think it's really important to talk about a 10-year plan because I'm the mayor of a city in which the mayor serves a 2-year term. And our city councilors also serve a 2-year term. And I think that if we look back over the years, there's been really kind of a lack of real legitimate long-term planning because when you're serving in a 2-year term and 16, 18 months into your term, you're already running for re-election, you tend to think in 2-year cycles. And sometimes some of the really good long-term decisions you have to make have some political cost in the short term, and it's hard to make those really good decisions when you're constantly up for re-election. But I think that we've put together a great economic development team in our first 22 months. Everyone from the Brockton 21st Century Corporation, John Marion's here, Director Mike Gallerani. We've hired our first Main Street manager. We have a new executive director at the BRA. Chris Cooney and everyone here at the Metro South Chamber of Commerce has been a great partner to us in terms of looking at Brockton and how Brockton impacts the regional economy. And of course our Director of Planning and Economic Development, Rob May, who joined us last year and has had a tremendously positive impact on sculpting this vision for the future of the city. So let me show you what we've got in mind. I want to show you that we started with our new City Hall Plaza for a reason. This project we just cut the ribbon on about a month ago, and this really represents what the city can do in partnership with the state, because this new plaza was funded 90% by a state grant, and it's a very important piece of our overall downtown strategy in terms of creating a livable, walkable downtown, bringing mixed use into the downtown, residential, with a vibrant business district on the first floor. And to bring people to live in the downtown of a city, you've got to create a quality of life there that will attract people. And this is a very important investment in terms of us remaking and reshaping downtown Brockton as an attractive place to live. And as we continue to bring in amenities and restaurants and a school and projects like that, you'll become more and more attractive to own or rent a market rate unit in downtown Brockton. So here's what Brockton 2025 looks like. It's a group of a dozen economic development districts. And I think one thing that you'll see right away is, although a lot of our focus of our first 22 months has been downtown, these districts are spread all around all four quadrants of the city. And they are some very different types of neighborhoods and business districts in the city. And I think that what's really important is each of these districts will develop their own district plan that will then become part of the overall comprehensive master plan for the city. So you've got some very different areas. Number 9 down on the left there, that's the kind of the West Chestnut Street corridor. And we're already having some great success there, bringing in Kenworth Trucking and Boston Fresh within the last year and a half. The number 3 and number 7 are the Montello and Campello business districts. And along with the downtown, number 4, those are your transit-oriented development districts where we're really incorporating and taking advantage of those commuter rail stations and developing from them. Up at number 1, that's the Good Samaritan area. We think there's a great opportunity to develop medical and biomedical business and industry there. And over at 5 and 6, that's the east side. That's kind of the Brockton Hospital, Massasoit corridor over there. So all of these areas are districts where we have specific plans to create development districts in these areas over the next 10 years. Now, the first step is you've got to have an overall plan. And so a citywide comprehensive plan, that process is already underway. And this is really what we commonly refer to as a master plan. Now, one of the reasons why this is so important is that the last time the city did a comprehensive master plan was 1996, almost 20 years ago. So this is long overdue for us to reshape the vision of the city. And I think it's important to notice that in a master plan, although economic development is a really important piece of it, it's not just about economic development. And you can see the types of things we'll be studying here. And that's, housing, open space, recreation, redefining neighborhoods. I think one of the consequences of the lack of long-term planning over the last couple of decades is the fact that we don't always have clearly drawn lines between residential neighborhoods and commercial areas and business districts. And so, some of this plan has to be establishing, how do we make neighborhoods attractive, safe, comfortable, livable, and have this all fit together in an overall scheme for the city. And also looking at how we take advantage of our natural resources and all the other things that Brockton has to develop. But it all comes back to this economic development theme. Recently, we unveiled the Downtown Action Strategy for community input, and the final touches still are being put on this, but we did roll this out publicly downtown a couple of weeks ago. And so I think it's important as you look at this vision of downtown Brockton that we are building upon prior plans. We're not looking to do something dramatically different necessarily. A lot of good work and study has been done looking at our downtown. But the difference here is we're not using the word plan, we're using the word action strategy, because this is an action plan. When I first moved into the mayor's office, there were several plans already on the shelf, collecting dust. This is an action strategy. And it really focuses, and this has been put together with us with the help of Mass Development, because this past year, Brockton was recognized as one of 10 transformative district initiatives for Mass Development, which enabled us to get some grant money to help us with planning consultants to develop this plan. It's transit-oriented, it's market-driven. We're identifying what will work in a mixed-use downtown. And as I mentioned in the opening with the picture of the new park, we are addressing quality-of-life issues with the downtown plan. That's everything from, clean, safe, and secure, changing the perception, to bringing in restaurants, amenities, and walking districts. And all of that will come together in the shaping of the new downtown. When we talk about downtown, I can't say that word, catalytic projects, what we've been able to do with this initial action strategy is identify 5 specific projects to launch the revitalization and the rebuilding of downtown. And a key piece of this, because they're always, the Secretary and I were having a conversation a little bit earlier about how, there does have to be investment in infrastructure by government. In order for us to bring the millions of dollars of private investment downtown that we want to bring, we have to have a little skin in the game. And I think that new City Hall Plaza is a great example of it. The work that was done on Pleasant Street is currently being done on West Elm Street to make it more attractive and create gateways into the downtown. But also we've identified as part of this plan the section of Center Street. So if you can picture where this building at the bottom is W.B. Mason, directly across the street is the new Enterprise Block development. And that block of Center Street is identified as a critical area where we need to invest in rebuilding that. There's a beautiful sidewalk on one side of the street now where the Enterprise project just went up, but we need to rebuild the rest of the street and the sidewalk on the other side, because this creates a link between the commuter rail station, which is kind of all the way to the right, and the downtown. We need to connect the commuter rail with all the businesses and other things that we're looking to develop on the downtown. So the Center Street corridor becomes very important. And you'll notice that all of these projects that we've identified are between the commuter rail and Main Street. We need to connect the two. And there's more housing here, development of a CVS-type pharmacy. And then those 2 yellow buildings you see to the right, that's where we have to redevelop. That's the Dunkin' Donuts, former D'Angelo's used car lot section along Montello Street there. And that needs to be completely redeveloped. So that will help bring the foot traffic from the commuter rail towards Main Street. And centralized structured parking has to be a very important key to this, because right now we have this sprawl type of surface level parking, which takes up a lot of space and is not productive into people living and working downtown. So the top structure up to the right is a structured parking garage, and we think 1 right away and probably 2 long term. And our parking authority already has a future parking study underway right now. The CSX rail yard. Now, I can't take credit for incorporating that in the plan, because Chris Cooney, I think from the first time he met with me, I think even before I was the mayor, emphasized to me the importance of the CSX rail yards in terms of regional economic development. The CSX rail yards is the largest piece of undeveloped real estate in the city. And we have a critical need to be able to redevelop that. As we're looking to bring additional business and commerce to the city, we're a city that's almost built out. There's a big opportunity here to develop that CSX rail yard, which has been not particularly well maintained and unused for decades, along with the fact that CSX has declared it as surplus. So a couple of years ago, the Chamber commissioned a study with the UMass Donahue Institute to show what the potential use of the CSX rail yard would be. And the Chamber has that study available, but it shows that the CSX rail yard has great development potential, and it goes from, this is Montello Street all the way down here, the rail line, all the way over to the east side. You can see all that open space there, the former rail yards. And we envision at the downtown end of it a multi-use industrial park, along with this is a potential location for new public safety buildings that we need. We are working with the governor and lieutenant governor in engaging in a community compact very soon, and in one of the pieces of the financial planning we'll be doing is a citywide facilities plan, looking at all of the city-owned schools, firehouses, police stations, etc. And I don't think you need to be an expert to realize that our fire stations and our police station are old, outdated, and need to be replaced. And this CSX rail yard would be a perfect central location for a whole brand new public safety facility. I did have the chance to have a little conversation with Secretary Pollack this morning, and this is a continuation. We've had conversations going on with MassDOT for probably a year and a half now, asking for MassDOT's help in acquiring control of this property, because CSX has identified it as surplus. It's just sitting there, and I think that MassDOT is the state agency that's uniquely positioned that in their other projects and negotiations with CSX, we're hoping that at some point they could acquire control of this piece of surplus property, which would then open the door for us to work on a redevelopment plan. Campello, you saw at the beginning 12 districts, and some folks say to me right now, gee, you seem to be putting all your emphasis in the downtown. And we have put a lot of work into the downtown over the last year and a half, because we know that the revitalization of the city as a whole begins with your downtown. You've got to bring the downtown back. But I think what's important with Brockton 2025 is we're showing the establishment of a dozen different development districts in all parts of the city. And so where are we going from the downtown? In the first development district we're going to is Campello, for a lot of reasons. Campello will develop its own district plan specifically for that Campello district that you see there. Much like the downtown, it'll be mixed use, a combination of housing and business. Again, transit-oriented development. There's been a real missed opportunity with that Campello T station. That Campello T station is sitting there, but the city's never done anything to take advantage of it from a developmental area. There's also been some work done here already. The Urban Land Institute in 2011 did a study specifically of Campello that makes a lot of recommendations that we believe make sense and will become part of this Campello district plan. We envision a DIF, a district improvement financing here, much like the downtown, so that we can identify increased property tax revenue generated by growth within that specific district and reinvest it back into the district, pay for some of that infrastructure that we need to bring that area back. And we do also visualize that within this larger district there will be an urban renewal district that will give us some financial leverage and ability to make major changes in the landscape there to bring in the type of development that we need. And clearly there'll be rezoning recommendations. One of the big recommendations of the Urban Land Institute was that the area needs to be completely rezoned to attract the types of things that we can attract in the 21st century. And our Main Street manager is already spending a lot of time here in Campello. We have an active Campello Business Association under our administration with our community development effort. We've helped to initiate and start to grow a Keith Park Association, a community association right within that business district. There's a Keith Park, a small Keith Park, which is right at, if you picture where the old Kentucky Fried Chicken used to be, across the street, that green there at the corner of Plain and Main. Already this neighborhood association is revitalizing that park. We've applied for some grant money to help bring that park more, and we see that as being almost like a town green for the Campello neighborhood and the Campello business district. So Campello has got tremendous potential, and we're already beginning to bring some of our efforts in that direction. So I'll wrap up just by showing again the large vision here, and the key being that it's an overarching strategy for the entire city based upon economic development and targeting development in these districts, but not just economic development, also working on our neighborhoods, quality of life issues, rezoning in all of these areas. It'll be a process that'll take a couple years, a lot of work by our planning department along with the city council and the mayor's office in rezoning so that we can zone in the types of uses we want in these districts and zone out the types of uses we don't want in these districts to help encourage development and make it much easier. You know, as I met with developers running for mayor and since becoming mayor, you know, they have some criticisms of us, and one of it is our archaic zoning. The zoning hasn't been updated, and so developers aren't sure what we want to build where, and they almost always need a variance or a special permit to do it. By putting the proper zoning in each of these districts, it'll encourage the investment because it'll eliminate a lot of the red tape. Developers will know up front what types of development we're looking for in what specific neighborhoods and business districts, and that'll just foster the whole thing. So I am very excited about this. I think for the first time we really have a plan and a vision for economic development for the entire city. I remember in my very first meeting with Mass Development and their director, Marty Jones, shortly after becoming mayor, you know, she was pretty straightforward with me, and she said, well, you don't have a plan and you don't have a planner. So until you've got those two things, you're not going to be taken seriously at the statewide level. And so that, I think we already knew, but it certainly brought the point home. And so today, we do have a planning department with both Rob as planning and economic development, a junior planner, a great economic development team that is all working together. And now, for the first time in a long time, we do have a plan, we do have a vision for the future of the city of Brockton, and that's what Brockton 2025 is all about. Thanks for your time this morning. I'm looking forward to hearing from the Secretary.
The Office of Mayor Bill Carpenter has announced a variety of new ways residents can submit tips anonymously and communicate with neighbors via telephone, internet, texting, and apps that are available on your cell phone. If you want to contact the Brockton Police Department anonymously, you can do so directly by calling them anytime at their tip line, 508-941-0244. You can also send a text to crimes or 274-637. Text Brockton at the beginning of the text, followed by the violation you see that you want to report. These features are available to anyone with access to a phone, cell phone, or computer with internet access, and all of this information can be found on the Brockton Police Department's official website at brocktonpolice.com. Outside of directly contacting the Brockton PD via call, text, or online message, there are a few new apps you can download to your smart and iPhones to report crimes and violations you see anonymously. My PD is an app you can download to your phone where you can submit a tip, ask the Brockton Police a question, or even commend an officer for doing a good job. You just click on what you want to do and fill out the forms provided electronically. The forms allow you to get as detailed as you'd like while submitting a report to best give the Brockton PD the opportunity to respond to your issue. You can also get My PD without downloading the app at mypolicedepartment.org/Brockton-police-department and fill out the information online just as you would the app on your phone. There's also Nextdoor, an app and website at nextdoor.com that is a private social network for you, your neighbors, and your community. It's an easy way for you and your neighbors to communicate. You can use this to talk to neighbors about anything community related, tracking down a trustworthy babysitter, asking for help looking for a lost pet, and finding a reputable mechanic to work in your car. Quickly report a neighborhood break-in, organize a neighborhood watch group, do it all with the Nextdoor app. And last but not least, See, Click, Fix. This is a feature that gained popularity following our most recent winter as a way for residents to report potholes on city streets that needed to be filled. However, it's much more than a resource to report potholes. You can download the See, Click, Fix app on your phone or go to the City of Brockton's official website at brockton.ma.us and click the See, Click, Fix button on the left-hand side of the page. You can report non-emergency issues to the City of Brockton using this app. Everything from abandoned property, to traffic signal issues, to graffiti, to loose animals, to snow removal. You'll receive an email updating you on the status. These are just some of the new ways the City of Brockton is introducing technology to connect with its residents and make solving problems easier. And remember, the City of Brockton is online 24/7 at its official website, brockton.ma.us.